Hello guys and gals, welcome to this newest tutorial of mine. This is a sorceress for Conquest's newest faction, the Sorcerer Kings, that would be released on March 29th, 2024. I got the opportunity to paint this miniature up for a tutorial after talking to Daryl. So if you like this tutorial and want to thank Daryl that he got the opportunity to paint this one, please write in the comments down below, thanks Daryl, and maybe you want to add a heart to your comment. I painted up this miniature in a more traditional Hindu Indian style color scheme. The whole army should feature many vibrant color combinations like a petrol pink or a red green, and in this case a red with a mustardy yellow upper dress, and I apply more clear gold tones and this turquoise jewelry as a binding element throughout the whole army. You can see the used colors in the left upper corner of your screen, and I show you through the whole process. If you like a particular topic more than another, go down to the timeline and switch to the part that you like. Maybe like, how did Dizzy paint the metal tones, how did he paint the jewelry or the skin tone. Just go to the timeline. We start with the black primed miniature, and I apply Scarlet Red from Vallejo Game Air through the airbrush as a base coat for the later applied yellow tone, because yellow looks way better and more vibrant if it's applied over a warm color than on a just black canvas. So just roughly apply this color, and then we go to the next tone. This is Gold Yellow, also by Vallejo Game Air. This is the color on the paper towel, and I apply it with several thin layers across the whole upper dress until I get the color tone I like, and in this case it's nearly a complete coverage. You could theoretically mask the red dresses parts with masking tape to save time, or maybe save time. In this occasion I just don't mind the overspray, because I paint the red later with a Scarlet Red from Vallejo Game Air with the brush. So I just spray over and forget that this could be a problem. After gold yellow is applied, like in this video here, you could go to the next tone. You could mix a color tone, or you can use another color tone. In this occasion I use Sun Yellow to add some highlights. I like to use pre-mixed colors rather than mixing my own, because I tend to paint whole armies on several months or even years, and I don't want to mess up the mixing ratio, so I can use the prefabricated colors like this. I tend to focus my highlights on the arms, on these breast piece that she got, and on the buttocks, cause she got a nice portion. After this is done, I apply Scarlet Red simply with a brush. You can see it here. There is no dilution and nothing else added. It's just Scarlet Red applied with a brush, because it's such an opaque color that you can do it like this. And I apply the color on the skirt, on this small cloth piece that wraps around the shoulder, and these small hanging cloth on her left side. Just simply apply the color, and if you didn't get that good of a coverage, thus just apply a second coat. On the next occasion, I add Khorne Red to the previous Scarlet Red in a 1:1 ratio. You can see the color there on my palette. I add a tiny amount of water, and then I apply this color rather generously on all these folds and the larger areas of the skirt, just leaving some minor recesses in the previous color. At this point in time, I could tell you I don't use shades or glazes that much, so I get my highlights and my recesses all by applying the color like this. And for me, for my work schedule, it saves time and a lot of material. Of course, there's no base coat, adding a shade and going over with the base coat color again, as I learned it back then when I started miniature painting. So this saves time, this saves money, and looks way better if they are not that deep of a shadow color. In this mix I've previously done, I add some Mephiston Red, and it's roughly equal parts, I guess. It's just to give a more vibrant reddish tone to the upper highlight areas and differentiate it from the lower parts of the dress, but not going into a orangey tone or a pinkish tone at the next step that you can see on many other occasions by any other manufacturers that tend to go into the orangey spectrum or pinkish spectrum on highlights. Next up, pure Mephiston Red or Signal Red, whatever color you want to use. So a pure reddish red, even more focus on these small folds in the skirt at the front where maybe the knee is underneath, so that there are these small folds building up. As well, all around the skirt there are small pieces that could be highlighted like this. And just to tell you this, the video is sped up to 300%, that you don't need to spend 2.5 hours just for one of these damn lousy tutorials. So next up, I use Mephiston Red and add a slightly orangey red with a drop of water in maybe equal parts. You can see the corresponding color there on my palette, and you can see the color applied on the miniature, how it looks and which feeling it gives away. So just add these small highlights, and then I start adding some horizontal strokes here and there, real fine horizontal strokes, because I'm a sucker for this. I cannot leave a miniature without some cloth fabric defects, in this case on the lower part of the miniature, where the skirt is maybe hitting some branches or bushes with thorns and keeps hanging on there, and some small defects are added to the textiles. As you can see, just simple brushwork, no magic. Just apply the color neatly here and there and add up the highlights in several thin layers. And as I told before, focusing on these area in front of the miniature, where maybe the knee is underneath and the cloth's curvature is shown on top of the knee. Next up, we add even more Wild Rider Red to this mix. It would be roughly 2 to 1, or 2 parts Wild Rider and 1 part Mephiston. It goes more in a orangey, flashy color tone right now. And I apply some highlights here and there, as you can see. And add some horizontal strokes too, to give even more differently colored fabric defects onto the cloth. And as before, yes, focus on the knee. The knee is such a good part of this miniature. This skirt bending around the knee is perfect. Applause to the miniature's sculptor. One more step, Wild Rider Red. So this orangey red tone purely just here and there. Some small lines added. And keep in mind, if you want to paint fabric, maybe you just break up the lines with some small dots in between, cause 2 sharp lines look maybe like a polished metal or stone edge and not like a fabric. Just keep that in mind, just a bonus tip here on top of the tutorial. Break up your lines to give the miniature a more unique and more interesting optic feeling. The next up is a final layer of color defects and highlights with Deathclaw Brown, not going into the pink area and not going too much into the orangey area. I want to go to a bit brownish and add some small stippled lines here and there, as you can see. As I told you before, not these straight lines through, instead some small stippled lines, maybe 2 millimeters of a edge highlight straight, then a gap, a minimal gap, 1-2 dots, then another 2 to 3 millimeter long line, and then another dot to break up the overall appearance or visual experience. Nah, I don't know. So this is very much the focus on this color scheme, as you can see. I focus my whole painting attention onto the cloth, onto the fabric, as I will do on each other model. The fabric is the main selling point on these miniatures, cause on all my other factions it's more like, ooh, the metal looks good, it's rusty, or on the Dominion there is a Ziliarch tutorial on my channel, you can see it. There is a heavy verdigris on the bronze armor, and this is a selling point for this color scheme. And on this occasion I go fully into the cloth and invest my time here. Next up, to the yellow colored cloth, I apply sun yellow with a brush. and use this for some edge highlights onto the yellow cloth. Focusing on the previously mentioned nice buttocks, some folds in the back area of the dress and on the arms. And as you can see, applied with a brush, it just gives another feeling than applied through the airbrush. So this is a nice multi-purpose color, I guess. And then there is this head cloth, not sure how it's called. And then some rework down at the lower end of the skirt, where maybe I messed up with some red, reworking the yellow. And as you maybe have seen already, there are already some horizontal strokes here and there to give the feeling of a slightly worn cloth. Then I add Screaming Skull to the sun yellow with a roughly 2-to-1 mix yellow to Screaming Skull to apply the first highlight onto the lower parts and onto these small folds in the fabric. Just reworking some of the folds I painted previously with sun yellow by brush and add some more of these horizontal strokes, as you can see here. I like this technique, I'm a sucker for this, and I hope you can feel why I like it so much. Keep in mind that you can always tidy up mess ups when you hit your previously painted areas with another color, but if you keep a steady hand you can save time. But don't get worried, just grab the previous color or a nearly adjacent color and repair your spillover. There's no need to worry about something like this. Next up, pure Screaming Skull for some final highlights on the yellow cloth, reworking some of the previous painted lines, adding some more horizontal strokes here and there. Just don't overdo it. I know on this camera with this lighting it looks a bit bright due to the bright lamp, but you could have seen it in the front of the video on the turntable and you will see it later. It's not that of a harsh highlight. For the skin tone, I apply a dark nutty brown or a walnut brown, I don't know. It's a dark brown from Citadel in this occasion, and after that I use a shade, Drukai Violet, to glaze this color. Cause dark skin tones look good if they look a bit violet purplish in the recessed areas. I found it out some years ago and always go back to this technique. It's just a easy way to give a dark skin tone a good coloration. And talking about people of color, just speak out against hate speech wherever you came in contact with this. Speak up calmly and firmly against hate speech and call out that you don't agree with the content of the statement. Miniature wargaming against racism and stuff like this. So, applying color to the miniature again. I use Kedashan Flesh Tone to apply this onto the skin, on the raised areas, like the skin that's raised by muscle, or the knuckles on the fingers, like you can see here. And in the face there are the cheeks, the chin, the portion above the lip or the nose, to give it a bit more definition. Keep in mind, dark skin tones shouldn't be highlighted that much, cause then they quickly look irregular, not natural. They tend to look a bit darker, and we can use this for painting miniatures. Just don't go crazy with the highlights on the miniature. Next up is a mix between Kedashan Flesh Tone and Night Questor Flesh, a rather pinkish brown tone, and this is applied with a bit of water in a ratio of roughly 1:1 to give the skin a slight rosy tone here and there, but don't change the overall appearance too much from the POC skin tone. Just focus on the fingers, the knuckles, the raised areas of the cheeks, the nose, chin, and some parts on the neck and on the chest. And as you apply it, dilute it a bit. You can go over it with several thin coats till you get the feeling on the skin tone that you like to go for. Pure Night Questor Flesh for a final highlight on the skin tone, on the knuckles, fingers, nose, upper part on the cheeks, like nearly underneath the eyes. And as you see here on the miniature, I totally forgot to tell you, I painted all the parts that should be metal in the Dryad Bark color before, when I applied this color to the skin, so that I get a good base coat for the metal colors later. So this is Steel Legion Drab. I paint all these cloth ornaments with this color. The technique, I thought about like, maybe I go into a roughly non-metallic metal area with these cloth ornaments, but it turned out to be a bit different. But I don't want to go true metallic metal colors for this, so that there isn't the appearance like there is a metal fabric mix. It doesn't rustle my jimmies. So I tend to go on this quote-unquote non-metallically metal appearance, and it feels right for this miniature. And these bright, bony ornaments would be a binding factor on my army too. So apply Steel Legion Drab to all the parts that should be textile ornaments, and we are ready for the next color. This is Zendri Dust, a more beige colored tone, more brightly, and I apply it really rough on the parts. If some of the Steel Legion drab is showing through, it's okay. If it's covered up totally, don't mind. It's just the base coat color to give the colors that you apply on top a better basis to work with. If you would apply the Zandri dust to a red surface, I guess you need 3 to 4 or even 5 thin coats to apply it well enough. After Zandri dust is everywhere on the miniature where it needs to go, it's the next highlight stage with a yes, what is it? A bright yellowy bone tone. In this occasion, Citadel's layer color is Champignon, and I apply it on the previously painted areas, leaving the areas in Zandri dust where maybe there is not that much light to hit the surface. You can see it here in the lower parts of the curvature. And this step is followed by Screaming Skull on all the parts, and I show it again on the bottom part of this skirt. Apply it on the upmost parts to give accents here and there. And there, a small highlight right beside the knee that we talked about that much previously. And then here and there, some small parts. Don't be shy, this is not non-metallic metal. You cannot do it wrong, it's fabric. There is no need to get the perfect highlights like on non-metallic metal. And I finished this one with Pallid Witch Flesh. Here and there some off-white dots to give it more definition, to give it the feeling of a slightly shimmering satin cloth, if you know what I mean. And after this, I took a long coffee break. Yes, I was done with all the fabric, and I looked at the miniature and thought, yes, this is good. Now to the rest of the steps. This would be metal, some minor amounts of leather, parchment paper, jewelry, and the hair. Oh, and don't forget the eyes. But we start with the metal. I use Balthasar Gold, a slight reddish gold tone, and as this one doesn't fit my taste, I use a shade to glaze this color to give it an even reddisher appearance. And I guess this is the color tone that fits nicely with all the vibrant colors I want to add to my army. So just apply this Balthasar Gold from the pot, no dilution. I know I'm a heretic. Apply to all the other areas and add the previous mentioned shade. This is Reichland Flesh Shade, a reddish skin tone shade that fits nice on the gold parts. After everything is painted, I also painted the hair in a Corvus Black to give a better feeling how it looks like with dark hair, and add Balthasar Gold again to the upper parts. Yes, I previously said I don't like applying the base coat, then a shade and another turn of the same base coat, but in this occasion it's simply the thing that I don't got a darker gold tone, and I got my darker gold tone by applying a shade. Sorry for that. This is the only part where I use this technique, base coating, a base color, shading, and another base color in my painting work right now. Of course, I don't got any good dark gold tone so far. After I applied the highlights to all the golden parts and leaving some of the darker gold in the recesses here and there, I add a new color tone and this is something of personal taste. If you like your gold more like gold, you should use another color. I like my highlights on gold on a more brassy color, so I tend to go with Rune Lord Brass by Citadel. Of course I don't like these golden gold, this yellowish gold. I like to paint more reddish or bright neutral gold. So this is Rune Lord Brass, another base color, but in this occasion it's my layer or highlight color. Apply it to some of the metal parts and leave the other color showing through here and there, and you're good to go. And if I imagine a Bollywood film, this would be a background dancer or danceress with a lovely skirt and some awesome jewelry here and there. So all the time I've painted this miniature, I thought, yes, this girl could show up in any Bollywood film and it would be fine. And thinking something like this, I guess it's the best thing that I could achieve for me or for my goal that I aim for the army. After I applied Rune Lord Brass, I apply some Runefang Steel. This is a really bright silvery color for some reflexes here and there on the metal. If you apply too much, just damp your brush with water and remove the color, everything is fine, or repaint it with the previous color. I apply this Runefang Steel on the upper parts to give a kind of light reflex onto the metal parts, cause later I will varnish the miniature with Vallejo's Ultramatte varnish, and there would be no natural true metallic metal color shine, so I apply this color to fake this shine for later. I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but over the years I found out this is a nice technique to fake some highlights here and there. Next up, the hair was painted in Corvus Black previously, and I apply another coat of this because there's some minor overspill with the golden colors here and there, and I wanted to repair this real quick. And I don't use Abaddon Black or a pure pitch black color, because this would not look natural, I guess. After this one is applied, another color. This is a bit grayish color, in this case Ashen Gray by Citadel, and I apply some vertical strokes to give the appearance of a light shine in the hair, like the natural curvature of the hair is showing here. After this I took Administratum Gray, a real bright gray, nearly white on the miniature, and I paint in the white of the eyes. Hold your breath for a short time while painting this, and then breathing again when you're done. Don't forget to breathe, this is not healthy. And I paint in the pupil in Dryad Bark, and as I've got Dryad Bark at hand, I paint this small leather element on her hip. And the scrolls, that would be parchment paper later, got a nice base coat with Dryad Bark for a more vibrant color later. So the pupil, dab, dab, everything's fine, we are cool, and I take Catachan Fleshstone for the leathery bits and some minor repair work around the eyes, and apply it just simply as a highlight on the leather back. Taking Gorthor Brown, another brown tone that's a bit into the color area where the skin tone is, as I see here. Strange. And use Steel Legion Drap for the small rods handles and the parchment paper. Like you can see here, there are these small scrolls on her hip. They just would be painted like paper, and some minor stippled flakes on the leather belt to give it a more leathery appearance against the also brownish, darkish skin tone. Next up was skin tone, no skin tone, Zenri Dust for the parchment paper, and Rakarth Flesh as a final highlight. As you can see here, nothing special, just some small stipples of paint. And we go to the turquoise jewelry. There's a base coat of Lupercal green, a petrol turquoise color. You also could use maybe Sotek green by Citadel. Just depends what you like to paint, or if you want to go red or yellow jewelry, whatever, you also can use these steps. Just switch out the paints you use from darker to lighter paints. So all the jewelry will be painted. Just take your time that you don't spill over. The next is another turquoisey color tone. This is a Sybarit green. And I apply this color in the lower right hand corner, like you can see here, of the previously painted area, to give it a natural jewelry appearance. You can see it here again. This is just a way to paint these small jewelry stuff pieces that would have a natural shine too. Next up, an even brighter color. This is Gauss Blaster Green, same as previously. The right hand lower corner, just a tiny amount less than before on all these little pieces. And keeping in mind, the corner where you apply this paint should be this one that's on the other side of the light hitting the jewelry, because on the now darker side there would be a white or off-white speck of color that is the real light's reflection, like a real gemstone would look like. If you want a separate gemstone or jewelry tutorial on my channel, let me know in the comments below, and I can focus even more on this topic, maybe in a larger scale, in different colors, and maybe some stones where are sharp angles and stuff like this. Just let me know in the comments below. The last thing to apply is a off-white dot of paint into the dark area of these gemstones, as you can see, for the previously mentioned light reflection. And then, if I recall correct, this miniature is done, isn't it? Looking good, looking good. So on other miniatures you could apply something like a fiery effect when it casts some flames, and work with object source lighting. In this occasion there is no need for this. I just fix a small problem there. There is no need for this, and we can just go straight through to the base work. I paint the base with dried bark, give it a dry brush with Baneblade Brown Carrickstone, apply some bushes, here some tufts from Gamer's Grass, some flock and stuff like this. You can look up the correct process how I base my miniatures in the previously video of the Zilliarch and see the final result on the turntable again really soon. I hope you liked the video so far, and if you do, just let me know in the comments below. Tell me which part do you like the most. Should I split up videos like this tutorial into sections like, hey, first tutorial is just the fabric, second tutorial is just the metals and the jewelries, and one tutorial for hair, eyes and skin tone? Or do you like this longer video where you can look at the parts that interest you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Spread the video, leave a like, and if you want to see more of this, just let me know. Thanks again to Parabellum Wargames, and especially Daryl McKay, my brother of another mother, that sent me this miniature. And I'm so happy that I could paint this one and show you the results. Can't wait the March 29th when the Army starter set or supercharged starter set will drop, and I can build all the Rajakur, the Gaul and the Flamecasters and stuff like this. And I will keep you updated on my Instagram channel. There is a link in the video description down below. There is a link to the Parabellum's eShop for these miniatures and all the other shenanigans you maybe want to know in the video description down below. Thank you for watching. It was a pleasure. We see us in the next video. Till then, I am Dizzyfinger. Keep on wargaming!